Uncle Johnson and
all right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You know, people say Grand Rising. Help me out. You know, I'm going to be 67 next month.
Wow.
I don't really understand the
You old, man.
new nomenclature. So why do people say Grand Rising? We have some young people here. Maybe you all can tell me. Kobe, do you know why they say Grand Rising? No? Okay. I guess it skipped a generation. I got a couple of generations. Well, I heard something about mourning, and I'm not mourning, and da da da. So I'll just say life, prosperity, and health to each and every one. Love to everyone. One God, one aim, one destiny to everyone. As we're having we had an excellent meditation, I know, that was led by Baba Nantambo Mwanga, and I'm your worship coordinator today. Thank you, Baba Jeff, for the intro. And, you know, and we'll say we always pour libation. And when we started in the 80s, libation was like, you know, voodoo. People didn't want to have anything to do with it. And now I see it's all over.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. And we
Post-traumatic
post-traumatic
There you go.
and we have a brother here that people request him to do libation. He studied with the Asar Asset Society, and he has a lot of passion when he does libation. I was going to play this video but I'm thinking maybe I won't do it because we're getting some kind of background noise. So I'm going to just let him go over and do our libation, Brother Wasuf. Step a while. And last time, I'm just going to tell all our business. Last time when we were meeting in person, I think it was one of the best live recordings that we had, only that one didn't get recorded.
Oh, no.
And yeah, that's bad. So today we're making sure that our brother's recorded today as he pours libation to colony.
I submit to the supreme being who's ever become. Inyame, 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 Ashe. Amen Ra, Ashe. My divinity, Ashe. Ashe. Oser Kunefer. Husi Ashe.
Ashe.
Tehuti Ashe.
Ashe.
Keper Onk. Ashe. Keper Onk, Keper Onk, Keper Onk. Ashe. Sekerd Ashe. Truth, justice, and righteousness, Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. At Perokuhuti. Ashe, Ashe. Justice Ashe. Peru Ashe. Freedom Ashe. Uhuru, 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 Uhuru. Peru Ashe. Damn it, man. Hortep, harmony, joy, inner peace. Hey. Ashe, Ashe. Ashe. Kuumba. Creativity Ashe. Sebek Ashe. Ashe. Ujima Ashe. I'm always say. I hate to say. Wait, but I say I don't, but I come on. I said Ashe. I say, Lady Osset, hey, I say, devotion, Ashe, Mageb, Ashe, Uncle Jasaneb, Uncle Jasaneb, Uncle Jasaneb, life, prosperity, and health to the wise folks, Ashe, Shepsu, Ea, Ooh, Ma, honored ancestors, Ashe. To the spiritual teachers, Ashe. To the builders, Ashe. To the unifiers, Ashe. To the elders, Ashe. To the grandmothers and grandfathers, Ashe. To the healers, Ashe. To the leaders, Ashe. To the warriors, Ashe. To the aunties and uncles, Ashe. Call the names, Ashe. Safinta Ariane, Ashe. Carlin Eddie, Ashe. The Kamau, Ashe. The Mandika, Ashe. Kamau, Ashe. To the Maroons, Ashe. Call their names, Ashe.
Mr. Leroy Conley.
Call their names, Ashe.
Mrs. Leroy and Hazel Conley.
Ashe.
Mary Smalls Pleasant.
Mary Smalls, Ashe.
Sam,
Yaya Santewa.
Ashe.
Peter Evans.
Ashe.
Sam Graham,
Ashe.
Thornton.
Ashe.
Valeria Gaston Sand.
Ashe.
Sister Gina
Aaron Gilbert.
Ashe.
James Wilden Johnson.
Ashe.
Tahuti,
Ashe.
Carter G. Woodson.
Ashe.
Malcolm X.
Ashe.
Reverend Saint Martin Luther King Jr.
Robert Nesta Marley.
Ashe.
Thomas Hightower Jr.
John Henry Clark,
Ashe.
P.C. Hightower.
Leslie Campbell,
Ashe.
Brother Algie Bowden.
Ashe.
My grandfather Robert
Henry
Iron Davis.
Hightower. Ashe.
Valeria Cook.
My grandfather Robert Iron Davis.
Ashe.
Dr. Ray Robinson,
Sister Karen. Ashe. Ashe.
Thomas
John
Hightower.
Henry Clark. And Shekanta Diab. Ashe.
All the heroes and sheroes of the civil rights.
Ashe.
My friend Achitan.
Our final three Ashes, collect them in the light, collect them in the light, collect them in the light, and store them in your heart. Call out their names with our final three Ashes. Ashe!
Ashe.
Ashe!
Ashe,
Ashe!
Ashe.
It is done.
Thank you. Sante San. Wow.
Umoja, unity,
In the
just
family, community,
nation and race. Sing over.
Yeah.
It shows our unity even more. We're actually coming closer as a community because we don't hear her say darling.
I know.
Yeah.
Kujichagulia, self-determination to define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
What's her name?
Her name is Mama Ingina Bernice Lockett.
Ashe.
And then Ujima, collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together.
Brothers and sisters probably be our
All
success together.
together. They're doing away with all the programs.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that means.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's right, Jerry.
Rise of Black
That's right,
economics.
that's right. Ujima, and we need Ujima. Cooperative economics to build and maintain our own businesses and together profit from. That's what this whole center represents, the African marketplace. It's nothing but African businesses in this place.
Mm-hmm.
Nia, purpose. There's so many young ladies named Nia. Purpose. To make our collective vocation,
Building and
the
development.
building and developing of our community,
The restoration of our people
restoration of our people
to our traditional greatness.
and Kuumba, creativity. This was Mama and Dina. To do as much as we can in any way
Any
we
way
can
we can.
Mm-hmm.
to leave our
Our
community more
beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited.
You know what? We're making sure that we're getting our sanctuary at Holly Street up to Mama and Gina's standard.
And I'll be up.
Yeah. Cause she didn't have a that'll do attitude with Wilson.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You have to get it right.
And you have to step up.
You have to step up,
Darling.
Yeah.
darling. That's right. And lastly, Imani, faith, to believe with all our
All
heart,
of our heart, and
our God,
our people,
our teachers, our sisters, and our brothers,
and the righteousness,
and the righteousness
victory
and victory
of
of
our
our
struggle.
I say.
I see.
I say.
One of the virtues.
the virtues.
That's one of the virtues where you just said
Yes.
that we believe and we have faith in the knowledge of our teachers, our masters to present to us the truth.
Thank you, Minister Malley. I will control my thoughts.
Mhm.
I will control my acts.
For my
Yes, come
I
on.
will have devotion of purpose.
purpose.
I will have faith in the ability of the master to teach me the truth.
Come on.
I will have faith in my ability to wield the truth. I will have assimilate the truth.
Assimilate the truth.
I have faith in my ability to wield the truth. These next two are difficult for me. Freedom from resentment of
Yes,
experience
very
or
difficult for me.
persecution. That's right.
I'm working on that one.
Freedom from resentment of an experience of wrongdoing.
Yeah.
And since there's so many different things that are out there, you don't know what to believe. Ziggy Marley wrote a song called What is True? There are many stories, both old and new. What is true? Cultivate the ability to tell right from wrong,
Real,
and cultivate the ability, go ahead, Mama Keisha, say it.
real.
From the
unreal.
unreal.
Cultivate the ability to tell the real from the unreal.
Mhm.
Sometimes I find myself struggling,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm reminded to do that through the 10 verses. Thank you, Minister Malley, for mentioning that, for bringing that up. And now let us, we have announcements. And I don't really have any announcements printed out right now before us. I will say though, that the major announcement for us at Wosay Community is March 1st,
Yes.
9:30.
In the morning.
9:30 at Holly Street, we will be recognizing and honoring our sister, Mama Ngina, at Wosay Community, 8924 Holly Street, 9:30. And let's get there on time because we have a tight schedule that we're working with.
Mhm.
Are there any other announcements? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to announce again that I have copies of 2000 Seasons, The Hosea and Destruction of Black Civilization here today, or people on Zoom can always order.
Mm.
The
All right.
books are available once again. They can have.
All right. 2000 season.
Mhm.
And also, for all of us who own the book, I'm suggesting that we buy it for young people who haven't
Yeah.
read the book.
Yeah.
It's still an important part of Wosay, and it's an important part of our people generally.
Are there any other announcements? Damani, you sent me an announcement. It's recent. I know you do so much, you probably you have to recollect.
I got 7 events on March 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, on March 1st at 11:30 to 1 o'clock, we have the children, we have a music program, thank you for music program for the children.
Mhm.
And then at 3 o'clock, and that's in the Sojourner Truth Room from 11:30 to 1, and then at 3 o'clock, we have a band in the Digital Lounge, the Digital Cafe.
All right. Are there any other announcements?
Bob M. Hotep, will we be able to get
doing a series of
Sister Dina's
workshops
memorial
at the Cap
on
City
Zoom?
Shared Co-op Place, which is on the corner of MLK and Broadway. So I'll be rolling out a schedule. I'll be doing a series of workshops there. One of them that I'm really excited about is called Benevolent Bartering. And it's preparing us for what we're into now, which is a cashless society, and preparing us with some basic studies and practices on how we start to operate without money and without credit cards. We start to use our own skill sets to work with each other. I'll also be doing safety workshops, mental health and emotional hygiene workshops.
Yeah.
So be prepared to look out for the schedule roll out. I'll get it to Baba Imhotep and we'll post it.
Right. You said Martin Luther King
Okay,
up
okay.
here?
In Sacramento.
Right. Any other, you have
To piggyback on the books and what the sister was just saying here, that I purchased probably 9 of each of the books from Sister Keisha here, and I give them out as gifts. And people are going through so much anxiety right now and not knowing, plugging into what she's just mentioned, the workshops that she has, giving out these books so that people, can get a balance in their spiritual system. Big ups.
Give them this gift.
All right, thank you. Are there any announcements on Zoom? We can hear. I know we can hear Matalisi's voice. Anyone else?
They're asking how to get the books, if there's a link or website.
We can put it in the chat.
Okay,
Can you put it in the chat?
yes, if you have it to me, I can.
Okay, my phone number,
Let me see here.
650.
Namtambu was raising the question.
Yes, Bob M. Hotep, are we going to be able to pull Sister Ngina's memorial up on Zoom, the regular
I'll mail them out
Zoom?
tomorrow.
And trust me, she will. Boy, I mean, her customer service, second to none.
Oh, you missed Namtambu again.
Coming to.
Can you hear me, Bob M. Hotep? M. Hotep.
No, sister and brother, let's stand for our affirmation.
So
He can't hear you. No one, he can't hear any of us.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think
Hey, now, Tombo, this is Baba Tai.
Jumbo.
Yeah, we are going to have Mama and Gina's service on Zoom.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, you're welcome.
In progress, in progress,
I did that so that,
You want speed into the future right now.
Try it now. I cut my, oops.
Yeah, right there.
we will know God's truth to be free and self-determined.
Creator,
help
us to remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of Christ. And to honor the struggle for others.
Let us strive to bring new vision and life to our people. Let there be peace and harmony among us.
Let us be loving, sharing, and creative. Let us work, study, and listen so we may learn, teach, and cultivate self-reliance.
Grant us power, O Holy One, as we struggle to resurrect our hearts and our homeland.
Raise our children according to the needs of our nation, with discipline, patience, devotion, and courage.
We will strive to be living out of the new generation of our people.
We are an African people. We are the children of God. A thought, you may take a seat. A thought just came to me, you know, when they give the Hitler salute, we'll just do this.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
When they give the Hitler salute, we'll just do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Like it. Brothers did it at the Olympics.
We were trying to get some music today, and this is an issue at Wilson, okay? A particular Wilson Sacramento. We need a confirmed musician for the fourth Sunday to provide music. We're still working on a brother, and he'll probably be here next month. But I asked Ed, and he said, "Emma, you got all those songs in your phone. Why don't you just play that?"
Why don't we just sing?
What? And that was the other option. Why don't we just sing? So logical. You know, if I had your intelligence, I just put mine away. Yeah. All right. So, any songs that come to mind? Not that we're going to sing all three verses, okay? Just let you know now. All right, so let's turn to page 8. It's time to stand like a people today. And I was talking to Bob Ty about this. You know, we were talking about transposing words on songs, and this song actually comes from a song. Remember Minister Malley, Carl Anderson, St. John's, every Sunday or KDIA. We would sing, "It's time to come to the altar."
To the altar and pray. That's right.
And Minister Calhoun changed it to "It's time to stand like a people today." So that's the origin of this song. All right, let's sing.
We are not gonna sing this slow, y'all.
Okay, we're gonna let you know how this song
I'm
goes?
gonna sing with you.
Okay.
We're gonna get a beat going,
Okay.
because sometimes we be dragging.
We don't want to drag. We don't or be a drag. All right.
Come on, choir. This way. Let's do it. One. Hey.
Yeah, keep it like this. This is far as I can do. Stand like a people. You know it's time to stand like a people today. It's time to stand like a people
people. Stand up and say, Lord, we are finally on our way. Brothers and sisters, we need you all the day. Let's work to the people and it won't go away. We're going to go to heaven to do the work that must be done. Alive with faith and purpose to bring our people together as one. You know it's time to stand like the people. You know it's time to stand like the people today. It's time to stand like the people. Our children need to see themselves in a much more positive light. To see that nothing is impossible when we try with love and might. We must build the schools that we teach them that their children are kings and queens. It is up to us to save them. Let us work and build and sing. It is time to stand like the people. It's time to stand like the people today. It's time to stand like the people today. No more say, no more wondering. We are finally on our way. It's time to stand. People, it's time to stand like the people today. It's time to stand like the people. Stand up and say, no more wondering.
Guys are teaming up. All right. At this point, there's no time at Wellstate Community Church that we not have a worship service where we don't recognize the great and magnificent deeds of our ancestors, to show and demonstrate the hand of God moving throughout the history of the African people. Because when we recognize that our people were at their height, is when they were closest to God.
Yes.
Our person that's coming to give the historical tribute reads a lot and keeps up on our history, does a lot of study. And when we made the call for historical tribute, he raised his hand. I'm proud to bring forward Brother Damani.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Had a couple of days to put this together, so I hope I can articulate it right.
You will.
Anyway, today's historical tribute is dedicated to the ancestors, no particular person. I'm going to discuss the spiritual concept of ancestral communion, why it's important, its significance for group solidarity and cohesion, and for the national consciousness of African people. And also the Nguzo Saba is in this concept. My remarks for this subject would come from Dr. Marimba Ani, the teachings of Dr. Marimba Ani. She has a YouTube video on ancestral communion, and she covers this subject in massively detail. So I'm gonna try. All right. The survival of our, during our enslavement, the survival of our spirits required a spiritual worldview. The European worldview, as we know, is non-spiritual. You could say barbaric. And she starts off this, well, no, she doesn't. So the most important reality for us is a spiritual reality, not a material reality. Let me back up a minute. Okay, Dr. Marimba Ani, she starts off this lecture, and she says a statement. She talks about a lot of us are practicing different religions, and it's a human need, it's an African need. And she said, and what African religion or spiritual philosophy has never been presented to them in terms of African spiritual philosophy is based on, in terms that African spiritual philosophy is based on. Otherwise, it's never been to articulate it in terms of our worldview. And so she starts off this lecture, she kind of talks about that real fast. She asks the question, why do we need a spiritual philosophy? And what is it? And she answered the question by talking about what is it that a spiritual philosophy should do? And I'm not gonna go through all of them, I'm gonna go through several of them. What a spiritual philosophy do is just present our values as imperatives. We don't have a choice but to act this way, right? Like Maat. It sanctions the culture. A spiritual philosophy sanctions the culture. It's particular and not universal. That is, it speaks to my goddesses, my gods, my Orishas, energies and forces, beliefs. It speaks to me in a very special way. Skipping down, number 3, it gives us spiritual awareness. A spiritual philosophy and religion should give you spiritual awareness in order to defeat the chaos we experience around us, like confusion, crisis. We all have crises in our life, death of a loved one, financial crisis, divorce or whatever. And these are times we seem to lose our way. We seem to lose our way, difficult to determine which way to go. And she goes on to say a spiritual philosophy or religious practice should provide us with a systematic way of thinking, which prevents this breakdown, this chaos. It enables us to regain vision, to reestablish a feeling of hope, and clarity, and direction. It also should relieve suffering and make suffering, death of a loved one, make it bearable. At the bottom, she said a spiritual, she goes on to another thing that a spiritual philosophy is, she gives us continuity of meaning. Move beyond the finite existence. It brings spiritual truth to us on the plane of human existence. Anyway, the last she said, a spiritual philosophy must build a national consciousness. Okay, and moving on to the subject of the day. But this is all about, she talked about this before she talked about ancestral communion. She broke down the difference between spirituality and religion. Spirituality, she's talking about in the African context, spiritual philosophy fills our entire existence. Our personal and cultural existence is a spiritual ideology. By that we mean it's the place of the sacred in African life. And religion in the European context emphasizes the institution, documentation, dogma, and it separates us from other aspects of ourselves. Now, moving on to ancestral communion, I'm going to explain this 5 concentric circles. We got 5 concentric circles. And we link together, we got, I want everybody to imagine 5 circles. 5 circles, right? And they're all linked together and like a spiral. Like a spiral. Okay. And the first, we have the children in the inner circle. And then we have the adults, we have the elders, the ancestors, and the life force. This is the concept of ancestral community, restoring the harmonious order. And remember, the most important reality for us is a spiritual reality. And this concept is a concept of communalism. A concept of communalism is a unifying concept that ties all of us together. It's the same thing as the kingship system in ancient Africa. In the kingship system, it provided for the welfare of the entire group. Everybody had mutual obligation and mutual responsibility to make sure the system worked, right? And the children are central to the social order of the community. They are most cherished resource. So the focus, when I was growing up, the focus is on the children. All the adults in the community focus on the children. They had baseball program, football program, girls softball, boy scout, girls, all kind of programs. All the adults focus the energy on the children. Today, a lot of adults want to party. And so the adults sit at the foot of the elders and they pass down the wisdom, the tradition, and the history to the children. Okay, moving up here to the ancestors. When physical, brother just poured libation. So when physical life ends, spiritual life continues. That's an African concept. That's why we're pouring libations. We're inviting the ancestors to join us. We're not whole without the ancestors. They makes us whole. An example of that, my Rabbi gives is, I remember growing up, brothers on the block drinking a quart of beer. And before we drink, we would pour out a little bit of beer for the brothers who ain't here. Right? Pour a little bit for the brothers. And we're symbolizing, we're kind of symbolic symbolizing that we're not whole without them. They makes us whole. They makes us a family, a group, right? Okay. Let's see what I'm doing. And so the life force. And so we as Africans, we must be connected to the source. We must find ways to connect to the source. Pouring libations, having an altar in your home. We find ways to stay connected to the source. And just talk about this life force. We didn't believe in the personification. Our ancestors didn't believe in the personification of God. We believe in a life force, a universal life force, which unites everything in the universe, all phenomena, all being. It flows through everything. All being flows through everything, gives meaning to everything. A source of spirit, of truth. So ancestors are linked to the creative source, are linked to the creative energies. And so we pour libations, we are energizing the room. We're sacralizing the room. We're sacralizing the room. And so in ancestral community, we're dealing with time that is sacred. Still, we believe time goes, not limited, time goes like this, right? And so when there's no connection, we must stay connected to the life source, right? Life force. And this life force could be called the Orishas, the Abusan in the tree language, or the Vudan. We call it Ra, Amma. Just know it is a life source, right? It's a life source. And so, real fast, what the Europeans, what the colonizers wanted to do, they realized that the source of our power was ancestral community. The colonizers and the European, the Catholic missionaries, they recognized that the source of our strength was ancestral community. It was the source of our power. It was the source of our unity, the source of our strength. And so they had to demonize spiritual practice. They saw somebody pouring libations, and they say, you're worshiping the dead, right? That's demonic. That's heathenism. That's all these terms they come up with. That's pagan, heathenism, all that stuff, right? And so that's let me see. And so what it does, it places what ancestral communion does, it places a relationship of the person and his community into a little bit context. A lesson about our ancestors. Right? Let's see. Okay, and so remember, the most important reality is the sacred reality. So Leslieville Milton asked Dr. Annie a question. How can ancestral communion strengthen us and be a threat to European nationalists? Her answer was, communalism is strength. Communalism is the coming together of the family, the coming together of the group, right? You don't get strength as individuals. Our ancestors understood this. I grew up in a 3 square mile black community, 2 parent households, and y'all probably did the same thing. And on Sunday, everybody had dinner together. Mom, dad, all the children had dinner together in every house. So it's the coming together. You don't get strength as individuals. Our ancestors understood this. It's the collective that gives strength. Wholeness. So I already talked about the Catholic missionaries. I'm almost done here. So the Catholic missionaries is trying to keep us in the concept of the life force. Our concept of the Most High, life force. Remember, Anita talks about, she sees religion as political. Christianity was imposed on us for political reasons. It goes away from our practices, our ancestral practices, and that would keep us from connecting with each other, to break up this circle here. We all tied together. Let me back up here. An African worldview that Rabbi Ani talks about, that we are a spiritually unified whole. We are connected to each other. You understand? We're connected to each other and the universe.
How do I get that? This is from
The
last week.
universe and
I don't have this.
Cosmos. When I
You
say
have it plugged
cosmos,
in?
we mean everything is interrelated.
Because that one did.
interdependent. All right?
So you
It's
plugged it in?
interrelated,
Yeah,
it's
it's been
interdependent. The focus is on spirit and the art within. It's just the opposite of European culture. They're individual beings. We're disconnected
That's
from
mine.
each other.
Click
A linear perception
that
of
graph.
reality,
that graph to the right.
no concept of the universal whole.
And make it bigger.
And they focus on the God outside of them and
This is
materialism.
the
We
screen.
focus on God inside.
That's my screen.
Yeah.
And then right
Okay.
here says your screen sharing, so everybody can see this.
I'm almost done. Okay, ancestral
Just hit
communion
stop and
implies the
submit.
love of the communal self, the collective self. Ancestral communion allows us to transcend the meaningless of a profound existence by connecting us to a sacred reality. This is a sacred reality that we have now. When I was in Africa, me and Brother Yusuf was in Africa about 3 or 4 years ago, the little children would come by, we were sitting down in a cafe having a coffee, and little children would call us uncle.
It's not.
They would call the little children, they called the older sisters mom,
Chair over here anymore.
older brothers baba,
Which one?
auntie,
Is this
and
you?
uncle,
Too?
right? And so the children have a sense of communalism. This is in South Africa and in Zimbabwe, I was in. The children had this strong sense of community. They was growing up with this sense of community.
I needed to put
They didn't see no connection.
say screen.
Disconnect. They didn't see disconnect. They weren't going from the disconnected reality.
Oh, you put, you
Everything's plugged in.
should be shown.
Well, I like to say this, that the conceptualization of the world, European worldview, their conceptualization of reality,
Settings.
is that of let me back up. Conceptualization of the world that is at the basis of European culture is that of a dichotomized view of reality. That's a split
It
view of
should be
reality,
on this one, right?
right? They separate reason from
Well,
emotion,
yeah, because this is
Symptom from
Bill,
thought.
that's Jeff.
right? Mind from
Yeah.
body, man from woman. Ruling class
And then we
versus
do
the
it
working
again,
class,
to
black and
into
white,
that
us and
site.
them.
Yeah, maybe
So we seeing what's going on today. You see a dichotomized view of
you
reality.
get in.
Let me see
You
here.
can't see
I didn't
both.
come because I had to come into my own site.
I think with this. So what
I
our
came
ancestors
into
doing,
this site.
they recreated the
You
ritual.
want to come in as
You know, they had ritual drama like the pouring of libations, and which she said we should be doing on a daily basis, at least 3 or 4 times a week. I encourage everybody to try to pour libations 3 or 4 times a week. And I found out when I keep doing it, I
This is
feel
the
the
past.
presence of the ancestors with me. They're
Oh,
propelling me
that's
forward.
it.
They're always behind me, right? Or in front of me. They lead me, guide me, comfort me,
Okay, we're
whatever
at
I'm
the-
going through. Ancestors say, you ain't going to do nothing.
Let's do it for her.
I know what tough times is. And so the ancestors gives us that. So we give the ancestors give us spirit, and we give them physical.
just go
existence.
in, type
Spirit
in
and matter,
Zoom,
metaphysical sense.
go into another browser,
Metaphysical sense.
type in Zoom,
Okay, so
Zoom.com.
that's about it. Anyway, our ancestors during our slavery, our darkest days,
Okay.
they had to
Right.
recreate the ritual,
You back to your thing?
right?
Yeah.
And they
So type in
re-energized.
Mosaic
They re-entered
@gmail.
the rhythm of the universe,
No,
the sacred
Oops.
cosmos. They transcended the slave order,
no, you don't.
right? They transcended the slave order. And so that's what it means to be immortal. They resisted and transcended the slave order. When you think about what happened in Haiti, that ritual, they don't want us to know about that ritual that happened on the islands.
Not my account.
Happened in Haiti, that ritual before the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah.
It made them determined that they was gonna be free. Right? And so, anyway,
Shoot.
I think that's about it. I got so many notes here. I don't know.
Oh, I wanna let me.
Anyway, thank you, and that's it today. I encourage
Text that to
everybody
me.
listen to Dr. Wanda Ani. She covered this in massive detail. She covers, from every stage,
can hear
you know,
you.
the children must go through rites of passage, right? And we all, she covers rebirth and all that stuff, renewal and rebirth. In every step, we have a renewal and rebirth, right? We die from being a child, we come on adult, we die
Right.
from being in that die, but we transition from adulthood to adult.
See what I can do.
Right. Right. So I'm gonna leave it with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Made a video and I put the current occupant of the White House picture on it. And they put the definition of Yoruba. And Yoruba is about disorder and chaos in the universe. And that was one of Marian Ali's, the book is like this thick on Yoruba.
Right.
It's a Dogon term. So thank you, Brother Damani, for bringing those things out. She also wrote, Let the Circle Be Unbroken.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So these are classic works that we should be teaching in elementary school.
And she trained under the ancestor John Henry Clark.
Yes.
At City College of New York.
Yeah. I had you know, if I could digress just a little. I went to Egypt with Dr. Dunn. And it was Dr. Ben and Ben Jeffries, 104 African Americans. 1981, and we went to this one site, this Arab one, talking about this great guy, Aga Khan and Dr. Clark. It was just a name to me, I didn't know who he was. He was just sitting there, you know, really kind of, this is when he could see. And he was just sitting there and he let her finish. And he says, you've done a great disservice to these people here, because you
We'll say Sacramento, you are offline audio and video.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's
Please.
been difficult. How strange to hear them when they are on. Can you hear them clearly when they are on?
Not clearly.
Yeah.
As Baba Ed was saying, we're shorthanded today. Baba Jabari is usually running things, but I think maybe Sebastian got drafted into that role today.
Okay. Well, it sounded like it was a very powerful tribute.
Yes.
Let's see.
Sounds like they just muted by mistake.
But the pictures, the video's gone too.
Yes. And
because they didn't want him to do it on campus.
Okay.
So what we did was, we sponsored him.
at least we have audio.
Acted like he was doing a lecture that evening, and then brought him out. And he, of course, blew the wig off everybody's head. And then he was the reason why we were able to get him to Draconic later on. Living history is something uniquely that the Bay Area and California, Northern California, has been gifted with. Because he was living history.
Yes.
And then he sat amongst youngsters like myself and inspired us to try to do it.
Yeah, wow.
Did he come to, what was said to the Ice Palace?
Who? Never did, I don't think. No. Dr. Ben came to Galindo Street and he did come to the ice. We have all these names. We used to, well, you know, we've moved around, as Wosek community, and we were meeting in an old Scottish Rite temple on Madison. I think it's a mosque now. And, you know, it was a really big building. I mean, the ceilings must have been like 25 feet. And, but in the winter, when you went in there, you could see your breath. So
The ice house.
that's why we
The ice
dubbed
house.
it the ice house. Okay, let's sing a song. It's called Children of the Sun. We sing also Sawandi selections.
Yeah.
It's on page 9. We are children of the sun, in every task we shall overcome. On the earth will be the last, that's the holy word. Try not to drag it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stand. Hopefully you can see us. Things doing better, Tom?
Nah,
No.
not really. Still working.
All right.
They're able to hear us, but they can't see us.
We are children of the sun. In every town we shall overcome. We were first upon the earth. We'll be the land, that's the holy word. We were children of the sun. In every time we shall overcome. We were first upon the earth. Be the land, that's the holy word. We were the first to look at life, that's the question why. We were the first to hear and heed the answers of the Most High. We were the first to know the truth of reciprocity. We were the first to build the work of love and unity. We are children of the sun. Upon the earth, be the land, that's the holy word. Now we place a faithful task here in this troubled land to resurrect our hearts and mind to build a mighty plan, to build foundation for our people of the way. This work only tells the genius of the race. We are children of the sun. In every time we shall overcome. We are first upon the earth. Where we are slowly growing. Slowly growing. The land. Ashe. Takes a village to make a worship service. Brothers, I hate to ask you to stand again, but it's now litany of sacrifice time, and Brother Damani, we lock the doors. We're on a shoestring budget. I was listening to Dr. Over Tashaka the other day, and he was talking about the Soledad prison post.
Oh,
Lodge Daly, and I can't remember his friend, and Albert Walker. I just remember Lodge. Albert passed away a number of years before Lodge, and Lodge continued on, but they had a book, Soledad Prison Poets book, and in that book, and Tashaka did it on his show, he has a poem there, it's called America the Pimp. Got everybody on the whole throw. And one of the lines in there's a reason why I'm going. One of the lines in that poem is romance without finance is nonsense. But I've kind of modified that into a sense. I've changed it to liberation without finance.
All right, I like that.
Is nonsense. Everything that we do costs. When we rent this room, they say, okay, what's your card number? You know, when does it expire? What's your 3-digit PIN? Yeah. And when we have guests, special guests on Black Knowledge Matters, they say, okay, I can be paid by this, Venmo. Everybody's not like me to work for free. So, and Minister Malley knows about it too. Yeah. So, Mr. Alicia, all of us volunteer. But in order to keep our movement moving, we have to have this litany of sacrifice. So let us turn to page 2 in our worship folder. Malley will let me know later on if I went too far in that little introduction.
Well, you did lock us out.
Okay. So on page 2 in our worship folders, you get a chance to get to it. Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly we bring our sacrifices to you. We will praise your name, O Amen Ra, for it is good. Umoja, unity, we shall strive to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and realm.
Self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We shall build and maintain our communities together, and our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together.
Ujima, government economics. Together, build and maintain, and together profit from it.
Nia, purpose. We shall make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness.
Umba, creativity. We shall do as much as we can, any way that we can, to leave our community beautiful and beneficial that we inherit.
Imani, faith. We shall believe with all our hearts in our God, our people, and in the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Amen.
Amen.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Divine Indweller of every heart and mind, we thank you for these funds that are used to continue the work of liberation, that are used to continue the work of Maat, to continue the work of the Wose community. We ask that you would bless those that were able to give this morning. We ask that you would bless those that wanted to give, but for whatever reason were unable to give. We thank you, dear God, for the work that must be done, the work that is ahead of us. We ask that you would bless this offering and multiply it 1,000-fold so that we may do great things in the name of the ancestors, in the name of the Neteru, in the name of the Most High God. Lead us from the unreal to the real, and lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality is our prayer. Amen. All right, what time is it?
11:53.
All right, Minister Alicia, I made us run a little long, and I apologize, but Minister Alicia, I always enjoy her messages. And she received a gift just this morning from the last message that she gave. She gives such deep and penetrating analysis, and it really touches your heart. So it's my pleasure to introduce.
Here's where you sit.
Good system.
We're working on it. Yes. No, I'm out of my lane.
We're all in varying degrees of ignorance.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. There we go.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, now we're back to where we were.
I think so.
Yes, that's what he is. There we go. Good.
Recording in progress.
Thanks, Frederick. Thank you.
So greetings to everyone. Give thanks for being here today. Give thanks for the breath in our bodies. Give thanks for this collective conversation that we are going to have. And if ever you get out of your beds today, getting yourself dressed and bringing yourself here. So we are so thankful to have everyone here today. So I want to just jump right in. I don't know what the time will be, but it will be what it will be. So right now,
Come with it.
I wanna first talk, I wanna first read from 2000 Seasons. In 2000 Seasons, we wanna start in, there's different versions. This is the version that I have. So your page numbers may be different, so I usually just tell you the chapters. It's chapter 7, The Void. And we're gonna read a couple things in here. It's not necessarily gonna be in order, so hey, just read the whole chapter. And so that'd be great. So it says on my page 303, we have been thrown into death, he told the people. We have seen its whiteness and yet escaped it. The further meaning of our lives is the halting of this white destruction turned against us. The removal of parasites whose greed welcomes destruction's white empire. Endless our struggle must seem to those whose vision reaches only to the end of today. But those with ears connected to our soul will hear a message, calling us to a better life, to a life closer to our ancient way, to a preparation for the best, the only living way. It is not vengeance for our own single selves we have been seeking in this work. Those who can see, those able to hear, let them hear this. We are preparers of paths to the way that was our way, and it will be our way again. Then on. True it is, we have known other sources of despair. The knowledge that a people may flee predators only to find destroyers. Escape whiteness coming from the desert only to collide with worse whiteness emerging from the sea. Yet here too, understanding takes the mind beyond despair, takes it to active healing work.
Right.
But understanding is the bare beginning only. Around us, everything shouts loudest for despair. And our spirits in the rising must push against the heavy solidity brought against us by the people of stone. It is a hard rising. But we should not lose this clarity and turn into stupefied haters of things and forms, leaving intact destruction's cause itself. A people are already trapped in spirit when they agree to the use of things to hurl themselves separately against each other.
All right.
The root of the disease is not in things themselves, but in the use of things. The disease is not in the abundance of things, but in relationships growing between the users. The people using all things to create participation, using things to create community, that people have no need of any healer's art.
All right.
For that people is already whole.
All right.
And finally, a little bit more familiar. It is not things we praise in our utterance, not arms we praise, but the living relationship itself of those united in the use of all things against the white sway of death. For creation's life. That is the beauty of the seer's vision. That alone is music to the hearer's ear. That is the sole utterance of utterers, conscious of our way, the way. Whatever thing, whatever relationship, whatever consciousness takes us along paths closer to our way, whatever goes against the white destroyer's empire, that thing only is beautiful. That relationship only is truthful. That consciousness alone has satisfaction for the still living mind. There is no beauty but in relationship. Nothing cut off by itself is beautiful.
That's right.
Never can things in destructive relationships be beautiful. All beauty is in the creative purpose of our relationships. All ugliness is in the destructive aims of the destroyer's arrangements. The mind that knows this, the destroyers will set traps for it. But the destroyer's traps will never hold that mind. The group that knows this and works knowing this, that group itself is a work of beauty.
All right.
Creation's work. Against such a group, the destroyers will set traps for the body, traps for the heart, traps to destroy the mind. But such a group, none of the destroyer's traps can hold.
All right. All right.
He did. And he says it beautifully. I have another one, but I'll read that a little later. The title today is Deepening Our Commitment and the Purposeful Co-Creation of Maat. I work at a school, and I'm working oddly like my mother with little children, 4, 5, 6. That was her sweet spot, and now is my sweet spot when it comes to children. And this morning, this story came to me, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So there's a little girl, 6 years old. And when this little girl says no, she means no. Now we have kids in the class, and they will say no sometimes, but they don't really mean no. They mean no just to try to assert themselves and say, hey, I can say no. But then when you talk to them, sometimes, it's pretty quick. They'll be like, well, okay, the adult says, I must go. Or this person says, I must do this thing. But this little girl has no thought process of being a 6-year-old. And when she says no, she means no. So one day I come into the classroom and the way our kindergarten is set up, the children are outside in the nature area for most of the day. So that is the rule. We are supposed to be outside. Now, of course, we're in the winter time, it's pretty cold. So she comes to school without her favorite jacket. So she doesn't want to wear the little thing that she has on, and so she's cold. So she goes inside, but the teacher is like, we don't have enough help because we usually have plenty of parent volunteers, but today, for some reason, I think the parents were sick or something, there was just me and the teacher. So she said, no, you must stay outside with the rest of us. And she insisted that she was going to be inside in the warmth of the classroom. The teacher pulled out the teacher's been teaching for, so many years. She put out every stop she could, and it did not work. She said no, and she meant no. And we call this digging in. That's what we call it, digging in. And so she just she wasn't going to answer. She was not a spitfire. She doesn't necessarily do a lot of talking back or whatnot. She just is like, she'll sit there and she'll just stare, like, whatever you're talking about, I'm staying right here. So finally the teacher says, either you come outside or you gotta go to the office. So she sat there contemplating for maybe not even 10 seconds. And she got her little 6-year-old self up and went straight to the office. So she dug in, and this was not happening. So inside the office, like the office lady came out, they had a little discussion. And she told her what was going on because she just went in there and sat down. She didn't say anything. And so she's like, what is this little girl doing in here? So she came and she talked to the teacher. And she was like, okay, I'll take care of it. So she goes in there, and after a little while, the teacher was like, I thought that she would send her back in here by now. Then we see her grandfather pulling up. And her grandfather comes out with her coat. Her favorite coat. The one that she wanted to wear in the first place. So after a while, here she comes in, smiling face, comes all the way outside, because that's what she meant to have happen. She was digging in to get her way. Now, I'm not always an advocate of doing that sort of thing. However, we as a people, when we say no,
All right.
Gotta mean it.
we've got to mean it.
That's right.
We can't play.
That's right.
We gotta dig in.
Yes.
We can't say, well, I don't want you to do this thing. And then we say, no, I don't want you to do this thing. And we keep looking, and they're just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing it. And we say, well, if you do this, then I'm going to do this. And then they keep doing it, and we're just like, oh well. And march ourselves back onto the rhythm that has been going on for so many years. We can't do that. No longer and no more.
That's right.
If that was your practice, we have to cut it out. We just have to start being serious. And I mean real serious. I love comedy and joking and fun just like the next person. Like me and my sister, we really like comedy people. Like that's where we go for our birthdays and all kinds of stuff to see some comedy. So we can laugh and have a good time. But being serious, that's a whole nother game. It's a whole nother thought process. It's a whole nother way. This is troubling times. And we have to be able to root ourselves deeper. Deeper against the storm. And we look at trees. See, I like to, when I look at things, I look at children and I look at nature. Because those things are so close to what we need to be looking at or how we need to be. Because as we grow, sometimes as adults, we kind of mesh into the environment in which we are in.
Yes.
But when we're looking at nature, nature is on Maat time. Nature is on Maat season. You can't go wrong looking at nature, which is why our ancestors were so spot on when they talked to us. And that's one thing that we have to understand when we're looking at our ancestors, is that we have taken on some things that we don't need, we never were meant to take those things on. A lot of times, like Brother Damani was talking about, we did it for survival. A lot of times we did those things, meshing religions, doing things like that, so we can make a face as though we were doing these things that we were told to do. But we were all the while going and doing what we knew to do. But after generation, if you don't tell the kids, we're not really doing this for this reason, this is what we really mean, and we're not telling them, they're looking at a thing, that's a thing. This is what we do.
Yes, yes.
We eat fried chicken and dumplings and chitlins. This is what we do. This is what we eat. This is what they know the reason behind it.
Yes.
So they can make a better decision because they're looking at what we're doing and we're not expressing anything. So we have to make sure that we are talking to our children, talking to our young people, because sometimes they're so innocent that they're just looking at what is. But there's so much that they don't know. And a lot of times we take for granted what those things are because we know.
Yes.
You know, my husband will tell my child well, I shouldn't say child, he would tell my son when he was growing up, Aki, he would say, go out and change the brakes on the car. And he would look at me like, how do I change the brakes on the car? I don't know how to change the brakes on a car. Your father told you to go out there and do it. And so this is telling somebody to do something, and they're like, what would you say? But in obedience, I'm gonna go out there and try to change it. But as the parents, he wanted to know, are you gonna go out and do what I told you to do? I'm gonna come out there and tell, he had to tell me that too, because I was looking at him crazy. Change my brakes. What are you trying to do? But really, go out there and do a little bit of thinking, trying to figure it out. You know? Wow. Try to figure it out.
Try.
Exactly. Gotta be next to the wheel. You know. And so he goes out there and he teaches them how to change the brakes. But in that moment, are you being obedient? In that moment, are you going to try to figure it out, or are you going to whine? Are you going to cry? What are you going to do? And I'm all off my notes. Please keep it. But that's what it is. But so back to trees. When we're looking at trees, we look at how they dig their roots down into the earth. When there are storms that come, they might lose a couple of branches, but that tree will stand. If it's a strong tree, if it's a rooted tree, if it's a healthy tree, if its surroundings are just the way it's supposed to be, and not weak under there with the ground. So right now, this time from March 21st from February 21st to March 20th is Amen time. Amen is the peace that passes all understanding. It is the peace that comes with the knowledge of reality. And so in our spiritual work at this time is laying a foundation of peace. Now, Minister Alicia, how do we do that when we have people signing stuff every day that's against us? How do we do that when we have all these problems going on? How are we laying foundations of peace?
No,
You know what's interesting? What's interesting about the Most High is that the things that come into your life is not, we might seem, we're looking at it like, oh my gosh, this is total destruction. But in the midst of that is our learning.
Okay.
In the midst of that is our being able to put up or shut up.
Oh.
In the midst of that is our growth period. In the midst of that is finding a way to teach you to do what you're supposed to be doing. In our nature is peace. But different things in the world gets us upset.
Yes.
Gets us riled up.
Yes. Yes.
And we know that those things cause stress. And we as African people know that stress kills us. Stress is so harmful to the body.
Yes.
But we live under that stress every single moment of every single day. Living here. But this place was not meant for us to be carefree. It was not meant for us to ride on rainbows. It was not meant for us to just lay around in the sun and just, oh, okay.
That does sound good.
We get those beauties sometimes, don't we? We get those times where we're just standing outside and all of a sudden the sun hits us in a certain way and we're just like, see, all this, everybody knows. Everybody's been outside one time with yes. But we're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to march forward. So in saying that, we have to learn how to be peaceful in the midst of storm. We have to have ourselves in knowledge of peace in the midst of the war that's going on around us. I even look at the Hosea, and when they're talking about one of the generals, I need to look at it again, but standing and surrounded in the battlefield alone.
It was per Ramesses.
Yes, thank you. And surrounded in the battlefield alone. Could you imagine? You have all your boys with you. You finna go fight. You finna go do this. Like, okay, we're gonna make this happen, right? And so we're marching over there, and you over there, and you facing this giant enemy. And you're talking your madness, and you're saying your stuff, and you're like, come on, boys, let's get him. You know, that type of thing. And so he says that everybody deserted him. He had the strongest of the strong with him, and everybody deserted him.
Wow.
So he's sitting there in the middle of the battlefield. And what does he do?
He prays.
He prays. We can't take the strong as a protector. We can't depend on those with wealth.
Yes.
We can't place our lives
The strong
under
arm.
the strong arm of another.
Come on.
We can't do that. Our wealth and our strength, it relies on our Lord. We know the might of the Most High. We have seen it time and time again. So this cannot distress us. The things that are going on in DC cannot distress us. We know our history. Our history of being taken from one place on the ships and put in another place. We know all of that. So if we know all of that, him signing things, that's nothing.
Come on.
That's nothing to these
Come
people
on.
because you know what? We are the descendants of the ones who made it over here. The descendants of those who survived all of the stuff enough to procreate and do it over and over and over again. We are the descendants of those that were strong enough to survive those ships.
Yeah.
We are the descendants of those who were strong enough to survive the whips, the chains, the Jim Crow, the sickening of dogs, the water hoses, and we're standing here, right here. And although there's a good amount of people in this room, there's more on Zoom, but there are so many more of us. And with each person, there are thousands of ancestors standing behind you. Let's open our eyes. This can't frighten us. Because what they thought was that we're going to scare these Black people, we're going to do this and do that. And then they're going to get mad, and then they're going to march, and then they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and then they're going to settle down, they'll be behaving. But here's the thing. This is a whole new different time. And we are in a whole new different situation. And what Most High wants us to understand that we have a strategy for fighting in the dark. We've done it before. We didn't leave the plantation in the broad daylight.
Come on.
It was
No street lights.
no street lights.
No flashlights.
Years of experience. So you signed a paper against the DEI that was already meant to like expire anyway. That can't hurt me. You ever this, I don't know how I don't know if this is a good analogy or a bad analogy. This kind of came to my head. You ever had someone call you a name so many times it just loses its sting? And you really just like make you realize like whatever.
Yeah.
Are you still doing the same thing over and over
You got some new things.
Like there's nothing new.
No.
Yeah. What new are they doing?
Nothing.
They're not doing nothing new. Only problem is some of us been sitting down and relaxing too long. That's the only thing. But what we have been doing is talking, discussing. We've been doing some building. We've been doing some connecting. The Most High wants us to dig in and do more.
Come on.
Yes, yeah.
So instead of, okay, we're gonna have, I'm with the boycott, and we're gonna have a boycott for one day and then wait for et cetera, let's up that. While we're doing that,
Come on.
put it in your mind, your heart, your spirit, and your soul that I'm going to purposely look for African businesses. When I need my silk, when I need my clothes, when I need my this, my that, my everyday thing, I'm purposely looking for African businesses to put my money into. It's all
Haitian relief.
Yes.
it's not there. That's the thing about today. That's the thing about 2025. We don't have to go to these stores.
That's right.
And they think that they're with some people who just gonna be like, well, that day is over, let me just go back.
Let me go back.
But let's change that up.
Yeah.
And let's not go back.
Right.
It's like, you know what? Not only are we not going there today, but we're not going there tomorrow. That was the day after that. I have found, have you ever, like, my parents, they always had one particular thing that they would buy. Like, it would be like one brand, right? Like Dove soap or something, right? And there wouldn't be no other brand of soap in the house, it would just be Dove soap, right? Find your particular brand and stay with it.
That's right.
Stick with it. So find your African store, find your African products, find where you're gonna get your books, find out, do it purposely.
Yeah.
I notice when I'm shopping, a lot of times for me, I'll just be shopping without purpose. Okay, I mean to go get groceries, so I'll just go to the store that I'm next to
Right.
and grab my groceries. I need to go get this, I'll just go to the store that's nearby and grab this. But if we start doing things with more purpose and more intention, more forethought,
There you go. Come
then
on.
we can be able to put our money where it's supposed to go.
Mhm.
We'll be able to put our energy where it's supposed to go. And it's time for that. It's not time to go back to what was happening because we see it's being uncovered. That's the thing about this, is that it seems so negative, but when we see stuff that's being uncovered, we're like, okay, I see you. I know who you are. You showed yourself to me. There's no other way that I need to look at it. If somebody is a hater, I'm not gonna keep going over there and try to shake his hand. So if you have to give up Amazon, if you have to give up Walmart, good Lord. If you have to give up these things, okay, let's do that. Let's figure out a way. Let's find a way. Let's put it on our mind to do it. Will it happen every time? Maybe not.
It'll get there.
But it'll get there.
Mhm.
As we began the practices, we're going to keep it going. And we're going to widen and spreading things that we need to be doing and shopping with our people.
Mhm.
And not only that, but with all things. Go back to the things that we know that's us, the things that we know how to do. So we go back to the 10 virtues and we go back to the Nguzo Saba and we put those things not just into practice, but into life.
Yes.
This is just how we are.
Yes.
You can't find a Black person that don't live the Nguzo Saba. You can't find a Black person that don't know the 10 virtues. As we go along, as we talk, as we work, as we do. That's how it's gonna be. So they might think they got run over. Oh, I'm gonna make this happen and make that happen. I'm gonna scare these people. And I heard of a little girl that killed herself because these other kids were taunting her and talking about, I'm gonna send ice after you and your family. Look how people scared. Yeah, scared and frightened. Our people are courageous. We are not gonna bow down. We don't have to sit out there with no gun or no ammunition. We just have to say, okay, I see you. I'm buying myself here.
Dig in.
Okay, I see you. I'm going over here. Okay, I see you. You don't have to worry about that because I've been creating community for 40 years. You gotta worry about that. We've been building community and building a people for over 40 years.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're alone.
Come on.
It's not like we don't have relationship. I was looking at this thing and it said, relationship, a deep, meaningful connection. Good.
That's all right. That's all right.
A deep, meaningful connection built on foundation of trust, respect, open communication, mutual understanding, and commitment.
Yes.
Commitment. Recommit. If you had committed a long time ago and then you're just skating by, recommit. Recommit to the relationship where both partners value each other's individuality and support each other's growth while navigating challenges together with honesty and empathy. Relationship. Have that relationship, because as we build relationships, the sister was talking about doing things with the cashless society. That's how it's going. So we have to learn how to this skill and that skill, use this thing for that thing. How do we do that? That should be passed. Because we need to know that. If they want to go crazy, let them go crazy. But we're on block right here. It's been 40 some odd years, and this is what we've been doing. So there are people that know. It's not like it's just been 4 or 5 people and nobody knows. People know. So once those things start coming back up, that's a necessary thing for us to strengthen. And we talked about it all. I was so thankful to always hear the things that God has given me in other parts of the service.
Mm.
So when we're talking about the 10 virtues, and we're talking about the Nguzo Saba, that cannot go away. The 10 virtues is an inward work. Controlling your thoughts, controlling your actions, having devotion of purpose. These things are an inward work to work on yourself in order for you to be the person that the Most High would have you to be.
Mm-hmm.
The Nguzo Saba is what we do outside in the community. We want to have unity. We create unity. We want to strive for maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. On all of the levels. On each level.
Mm-hmm.
Because on each level, you're going to see Maat. And you're going to see unity. And so don't think that unity is everybody being one person and that we all have to agree on every single thing that we are doing. We can agree to be free and keep it pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And say we are unified. Because the more that we say that we are not unified, the more differences that we're looking at.
Yes, yes, yes.
The more that we say we are not unified, the more I can say, well, they did this and she did that.
Right.
Instead of, we're all working together to make sure these kids understand A, B, C, and D.
Yes.
So you'll bring it your way, and he'll bring it his way, and I'll bring it my way, and then the kids will get what they need. Instead of me saying, well, the way she does it, I don't know if they're going to understand. And the way he does it, well, but it's not unified. It's not, no, people are saying that because it's not the way they want it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's different. That's different. Because everybody wants things the way they want it, of course. Of course, I would like the world to go according to Alicia Teasley. Why not?
Sounds good to me, huh?
Come on.
We gotta be able to tell the real from the unreal.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. Number 10.
People with their own growing up, their own upbringing, their own thoughts, their own emotions, and you've been through stuff I haven't been through, and I have been through stuff you haven't been through, and for us to agree on every single thing. And we can't call it unity unless everything is agreed upon.
Right.
Come on now, let's start thinking. We got to use the African minds that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We have to use these African minds, and we have to do African things, and we have to understand in African ways. Whether it was just like you're talking about that. We have to understand that. We have to understand when it is a European sense of mind and when we are coming to our African mind.
Come on, come on.
That is not the same way of thinking. And they have us duped.
Oh, yeah.
Laying the foundation of peace. Digging in deep to those foundations, the 10 virtues, the Nguzo Saba, co-creating a world of Maat on purpose. Purposely live Maat. Don't just accidentally, on purpose, and do those things that you know that's in balance, that supports harmony, that is in order, that's right to do. Do those things that solidify Maat in your realm of doing.
Yes.
In your, whatever is under your control. That's how we co-create. And there are thoughts in our minds. How do we create those things? In the vibrations of how we talk. A lot of times, and I'm talking about self-talk too. We don't always have to say things out loud for them to vibrate.
Right. That's right.
The stuff that we tell ourselves is usually more detrimental to anything that we are talking about.
Yes, 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 say it.
So I'm talking about co-creation of Maat. I'm talking about build your harmony, your truth within yourself. And then when you're talking to other people, if you have a criticism, everybody is okay with the criticism. Just depends on how you say that criticism.
What's your intent?
What's your intent behind it? And is it gonna help that person if you say that?
Is it constructive?
If it's constructive, if it's not something that's gonna help that person, if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Joseph
Cut 'em down.
is not listening to you, when you've told them the 18th million times, that this is what they're supposed to be doing, then you know what?
Change it up.
Maybe we should have.
Come on now.
Both
Yeah.
because we do not always have to run our mouths.
Mhm.
I've learned when I was a kid. Yeah, is right. I look back and I'm just like, wow, I really had a lot to say. And as I got old, yeah, you're like, really? Now I know how to be silent at some times. You know, there are times when most of the time you won't catch me talking. I'll just be sitting in the back listening. Because silence is golden, and sometimes we don't need to say anything.
Mhm.
We don't need to argue. We don't need to put somebody down. We can check our intention. And we can say or not say. So that was co-creating in a world, co-creating a world of Ma'at on purpose. An increased relationship. The community, family, and God. God wants a relationship with each and every one of you. It's not something that is foreign, but it's something that we can get too busy to do. Because when we think of relationship, we think of, the husband and wife, the girlfriend, boyfriend. But honey, if you, as my husband, don't talk to me for a week, we gonna have some problems. We gonna have some issues.
Yeah.
I'll give you a day. I'll give you a day, 24 hours. Maybe they're busy, but I need to see a text. You can ask my son. My son will go out, Kobe. My son will go out, and if he hasn't texted me, and when he gets home, or even sometimes before he gets home, excuse me, I need for you to call me and let me know where you are. I don't care where you are. I need to know. I need you to text me. I need you to call me. I need to do all of that.
Yes.
So what are we thinking about the Most High when it's been a week since we've sat and prayed?
Come on. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Because I do for my son, but I don't do for my son like the Most High does for me. That is on a whole nother level. So if I'm just sitting here for a whole week or 2 weeks or a month goes by and I don't have no type of prayer time, I don't have no type of meditation time, what kind of relationship?
Oh, come on now.
Get raggedy real quick.
Yeah, it will.
There. Because I have another son who will ask me for everything under the sun. But I'll be like, son, where you been? What you been doing? When I asked you to do A, B, C, and D, you didn't do it. But then you asking me all of this stuff. So when we're praying and we ain't prayed for a month or two and we come to the Lord with all these requests.
Come on. Requests.
Yeah, that's a no. What?
You go.
Yeah, teach it.
That's right.
There is so much to say. There is so much to say, but those are the 3 main important points to get across these days is laying a foundation of peace, digging in deep to those foundations, and increasing our relationship because we're going to need that.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
When they say Africa for the Africans at home and abroad, that's a relationship that we're talking about.
Yes.
We have our deepest relationships there. And it just doesn't mean the land.
No.
It means the ideas, the thoughts, the way that we deal with each other. Those things. That's for us. And once we know those, we can live those. And then once we live those, we can see that, oh, all along we should have been building community instead of talking about individuals.
Right.
All along. All along. In the book of Ptahhotep, number 2, and then I'm going to sit down because I have so much to say. I surely do.
All right, Minister.
It talked about in the end that it is Maat that endures. So we already know how this ends. So we don't have to worry. In the end, it is Maat that endures. And then in Kunanuk it says, be not untrue, for you are the balance. And do not swear, for you are the standard. There's a lot of hate coming our way because we are the balance and we are the standard. The standard of you. The standard of holiness and righteousness. You might think that we might see other things, but to tell you the truth, there ain't none better. I ain't seen it. I mean, I'm not 80 years old, but I ain't seen it. Because there is nothing better than what we have put onto this planet. That's why they're copying us. That's why they're upset at us. That's why they're doing a lot of the things against us that they're doing. As a people, we need to find our peace, laying that foundation. And a lot of people are finding it after they for a long time been trying to help this person, trying to help that person, and keep getting stabbed in the back. Many of us are saying, can't help you. And they're wondering, where are all the Black people?
Yes.
Why aren't they out doing this? Why aren't they out doing that? You might have to find out yourself. You might have to find yourself. You might have to do something for yourselves. We've been doing for so long. And then when stuff comes about, it don't benefit us. It benefits everyone else. So, buy Black, stay Black.
That's right.
Understand it. I'm going to sit down.
Thank you. Santi Sana.
She knocked it out the park.
Wisdom from
Knows how to do it. She knows how to say it.
Creator speaking through our minister today.
Yes.
Give thanks and praise for that message today, Minister Alicia. And we'd like to hear you talk. I didn't know that you were like that, though, bro. Learn something new every day. You seem so quiet. Give thanks. At this time, we're going to extend the invitation. I know a lot of people are just already members, but we're going to take this time to extend the invitation to you to become a part. We'll say community. And I'm just going to stand here. I'm not going to sing. Okay. I know you know. Okay, I was having a temptation flag. But we're extending the invitation to you today if you'd like to become a part. We need more members.
Yes.
We need more workers.
Yes.
We need more seers, doers,
Yes.
hearers, imaginers of the sacred African way. And we're not just saying that now. That's going to be our 2025 message.
Yes.
We lost one of our soldiers
Yes.
this past week. It is what happens in Maat. But it just shows us that we need to work harder, work smarter, and we're asking you to come and join us today. Anybody coming forward, Sebastian? All right. You know, nobody has come forward. The message has been proclaimed in a magnificent and powerful way. I know we say that a lot after a speaker, but especially today. Wise words, bringing up Ramasu, the youth that's standing her ground. No means no.
No, no.
Digging in.
Digging in. All right. So as we come to a close in our message today, is there anything else that we should be thinking about, talking about, or doing something about before we go? Anyone? You know where I got that from? I used to listen to Ray Taliaferro.
Ray Taliaferro. Yeah. That's
I used to listen to Ray every night.
Yeah, that's reaching back.
I worked a swing that went into a grave shift. And Ray talked the whole night, and he would ask, is there anything that we should be thinking about, talking about, or doing something about? All right, though nobody has come forward, I'm just telling you all the secrets. All right, should we play Lift Our Voice and Sing on the radio? You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's close out. I should have had it queued up.
You know, Minister, as Minister Alicia was bringing the message, I was just thinking about these times in Uber. Montgomery boycott, to me, developed Uber.
Yeah.
They dug in
Yes, yeah.
for 381 days. And through ride sharing, right? You know, that was Uber. So we should have continued that out, because as we dig in, we have to create those sustainable businesses to keep it going. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I found it. All right, let's sing. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Sebastian.
Yes.
We had a little
We were getting the circle, my bad.
we are getting circled. This is Lift Every Voice and Sing by the Women of the Calabash.
Oh, that's Women in Circle.
I think that they used to be Sweet Honey and the
They are.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so here we go.
Now to the one who's able to lift us up, fall and seat before the throne on high, and empower us to be one people.
One people.
With one aim.
One aim.
one destiny,
one destiny,
one love,
one love, one heart, one God.
The name of that one God, as our ancestors and elders have done for countless times in time immemorial. Let us all say,
Amen.
But once again, with feeling.
That was kind of raggedy.
we are the most beautiful.